What's up, coconuts? Thank you so much for watching. Today we are going to be putting drugstore and high-end makeup to the test. On one side I have drugstore makeup and on the other side I have high-end makeup. So if you think you can tell which one is which right now, give it a like. Let me know in the comments below. We are going to go throughout my day and do some check-ins. It's going to be really hot here. It's going to be like almost 30 Celsius, so like 85 Fahrenheit. I got to cut the grass, I got to do laundry, I got to run errands. So it'll be a really good way to test this makeup and see if it's really worth getting high-end makeup. Does it last longer? Does it outlast the drugstore stuff? You know, and really find out, is the high-end stuff better? Is it better than drugstore? Is it worth spending double, triple, quadruple, whatever the extra amount of money? Does it last? Like, this is gonna be a really, really good test. So stay tuned and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so like I said, it is gonna be hot. It's also gonna be super sunny. So very importantly, we're gonna start off with SPF. I have Hawaiian Tropic Sheer Touch Oil-Free Sunscreen, SPF 45, and I didn't notice any breakouts or anything, so I don't really recommend putting this on your face. However, I have had okay luck with it. So we're gonna use this on the drugstore side, and we're gonna use the Josie Maran on the high-end side. They're a really similar consistency and texture, as well as like they both go on pretty white, so I figure that it's a pretty good comparison, and they also have really similar SPF. So Hawaiian Tropic on this side. There, I got my hair out of the way. We're gonna slap the high-end, the Josie Maran, on the right side, your left. So it also goes on really white, but blends in. They both blend in really well. Like, you don't see any white afterwards. Drugstore side for foundation, I'm gonna be using my favorite, the Rimmel Lasting 25-hour breathable foundation. So 25 hours, that's not happening, but it's gonna be super hot today, so maybe that will give it a good test. Okay, so just gonna blend that in. So on the other side, okay, so sorry, just before I forget, this is in the shade 300 Sand. And on the high-end side, I'm gonna be using the Tarte Shape Tape Hydrating Foundation. And this is in the shade Light Medium Beige. So I think they're pretty similar. This one seems maybe a little bit lighter, but it's what we're going with. And just taking my sponge again, and we're just gonna blend that in. Moving right on to concealer, I have, let me see, from CoverGirl, the True Blend It's Lit. This is in the shade, ooh, I don't know, light, I think. I really don't love it when they don't put the number or name on the packaging, because like, how are you supposed to know? I did a video on some like new CoverGirl products a couple of weeks ago. This was included in that, and honestly, I didn't love it. It's blending out a lot better today for some reason. Maybe I just used a better amount, or my sponge is wetter. Who knows? But it doesn't, yeah, see, it doesn't cancel out like a lot of darkness or anything, so I'm not like a huge fan of that. Not like I am a huge fan of my Too Faced Born This Way. This is the Naturally Radiant. And this is in the shade Light Nude. Thank you, Too Faced. This one just has like a lot more coverage and a lot more cancellation, I find. So, and it is like that. It's the Naturally Radiant, and I do find that it just looks so much better. Can you see a difference? Okay. So next we're gonna start building our glow. It's gonna be a nice hot summer day. We wanna be nice and glowy, dewy, and just like blind the neighbors while I'm cutting the grass. So from Makeup Revolution, this is the liquid highlighter in Champagne. Woo! That's kind of a lot. And again, with the same sponge, we're just gonna blend that in. You have to work kind of quickly with this one because it has that little bit of like that oil slick consistency that like if you let it dry, it will stay there and just leave a really noticeable patch. So be forewarned. On the high-end side, because I wanted to keep things like as similar as possible, I only have a sample of a high-end one. This is Kevyn Aucoin, the Celestial Skin Liquid Lighting. This is in the shade Candlelight. And this stuff is absolutely stunning. And really, I did a wear test and a video about this, well, and a couple other products that I'd never tried before. And it lasted, I don't know, 14 hours and was looking stunning, stunning all day. So it is definitely higher end. The full size of that, which is probably around an ounce, is $62 Canadian, but Like I said, sometimes they're worth it. So we'll see if this side lasts as long as this side's looking a little bit more pa than this side, but that's okay. So for starting my contour, I'm gonna use on the drugstore side the NYX Wonder Stick Highlight and Contour Light and Contour Stick. This is in the shade WS02 or Medium Tan. I'm only gonna use the contour side and just to start hollowing out my cheekbones a little bit. I actually stopped using this because I did notice some breakouts here in this side, so we're only gonna use this today. It's actually blending out really nicely. I wish it didn't make me break out because it's really pretty and it's really reasonably priced. Okay, and on the high-end side, we're gonna go in with my daily favorite, the Tarteist Pro Glow. We're gonna jump into the only cream shade in here, which is called Shade, and we're just gonna apply it in a pretty similar manner. I hope they're like close enough shades. It's not too bad. Okay. For the drugstore side, we're going to go in with the Old Faithful, the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. This is actually the light shade, and it still works pretty well for me, even though I'm really tanned. So just darkening up the contour and warming up the whole face a little bit. And then this stuff I like to take down my throat just to even out all the colors that I got going on here. Okay, and on the high-end side, we're actually going to take a bronzer from Estee Lauder. This is the Estee Edit, which unfortunately, I think they're like not a company anymore, but it's the one that's really similar in shade to the Butter Bronzer, so we're going to use that. Now I need to do my brows because they are driving me crazy. So I'm just gonna comb up both of them with this little spoolie from Maybelline. Okay, so for the drugstore side, I am gonna use my Maybelline Total Temptation. This is in the shade 300 Blonde. I absolutely love this pencil. I use this every day if on its own or in conjunction with something else. They've shaped it and chiseled it all the way down. There isn't much left. It was probably like out to here when I started, but like I said, I use this all the time and I love the brush. It has this little stout fat spoolie that just really fluffs and combs everything up, like compared to the other brush that came on this L'Oreal one like this. No, I do use this for my dip brow or the pomade, but I really don't like it for actually like combing out and shaping my brows. So just drawing out the basic shape that I want and flicking up here and there where I need a little bit of extra fullness. This particular product doesn't come with any sort of wax or setting thing or anything, so we're just gonna leave it as it is because that's what we have for the drugstore side. And onto the Kat Von D. This is also in the shade Blonde. I'm just taking, like I said, this like weird little kind of crappy brush that I don't really like for combing out my brows. But it works really well for just dipping into here and then just combing it in here. Okay, so I got my brows on, so I can go ahead and finish up my cheeks on the drugstore side. Hard to believe that this is drugstore because it is just like makeup gold. Milani Luminoso. And we're just gonna dust this on the apples and sweeping it back a little bit. Like, how pretty is that? It's like somebody just walked out of a Jane Eyre novel. I'm glowing. Okay, and on the high-end side, we're gonna be taking Benefit Coralista. This was kind of the closest that I found or that I had for high-end. I'm actually gonna grab. Okay, so I'm gonna take a clean brush that's similar to the Real Techniques one that I used and just do the same. This one's definitely like a little peachier, a little glowier, and I'm like really fighting the temptation to put it on this side, but I think just to even up the sparkle a little bit, I'm gonna take, I've got this Smashbox, the LA Lights Blush and Highlight Palette, and I'm gonna take like this, the kind of shimmery pink shade. This one fell out and busted. I don't wanna talk about it. But I'm gonna take this little shimmery one and just go over top of it like just a tiny bit. Oh, see, that matched it up like pretty well. All right. I was like a little bit worried that this was gonna look super different, and I was like, I absolutely have stuff to do today, so. All right, so on to eyes. For this side, the drugstore side, for priming, I have to prime my eyes because they are like super oily. I can't use concealer. I have this e.l.f. eye primer and liner sealer. I do have quite a bit of creasing when I use this, which is why I started finding other ones. and which eventually led me to the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. This already I can tell like just doesn't have as nice of a consistency as the MAC one, but it's what we got. So like I said, MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, and I'm just gonna apply this with my fingers. Oh, it just got under my nail. So annoying. See, and that just blends out so much more nicely. So it's like right before your eyes and right on your eyes. The high end is performing much better. And I know this one doesn't crease, and I know this one creases, but we're doing it. But for the eyes, just because it's kind of a home day and an errands day, we're just gonna do something pretty basic. Sorry. Not like you're gonna see anything else on this channel, not in my eyes anyway. So I'm gonna be taking the CoverGirl True Blend Chocoholic palette. I actually have been reaching for this almost every day. I love creating super simple looks with this. It's great for that like sort of everyday bronzy, no makeup, but it actually lasts. Like this shade in particular, it really mimics that look of the bronzer, but it honestly will last like 12 or 13 hours. It's really, really good eyeshadow. So excellent, excellent palette. There is only this one light shade, so that's not my favorite. I would like a little bit more to work with because I know I'm just gonna hit pan on these two and like probably call it a day, but that's okay. We're gonna work with it. Taking a clean Sigma E40, I'm just gonna dip into the white shade here and just lay that down as my foundation and to set my lids a little bit because I definitely need that. High-end side, we're gonna take the Naked True Basics palette from Urban Decay, and I'm gonna use the WOS shade, which is the most similar to the shade in the CoverGirl palette, and do the same on this side. So, okay, I'm just gonna keep the same brush and I'm gonna grab that shade that I was talking about that I really like in the Chocoholic palette. Just really lightly dip my brush and just throw it in my crease. Again, super simple look just because it's gonna be the easiest for me to replicate on both eyes. Let's go ahead and be serious. Okay, and I'm just gonna like fluff off my brush a little bit here and go back into the Naked palette and grab this faint color. Ooh. Okay. Shoot. Okay, so that's like crazy pigmented and like, look how patchy that is. This one blended out so much more nicely. Like, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Okay, so just for a little bit of depth and dimension back into this palette, I'm telling you, this palette is great. I'm gonna take this taupey, shimmery kind of bronzy, dark bronze shade, very lightly dip in my Sigma E55 and just pop that in the outer corner. This stuff is crazy pigmented, so you don't need a lot. Okay, and I'm just gonna dip my brush really, really lightly back into that same nice dark bronzy color and just go under my lash line a little bit. So for the high-end side, we're gonna take the Kat Von D. This is the Metal Crush eyeshadow in the shade Synergy. High-end packaging, so protective. My God, safe. Synergy. And we're just gonna do the same on the high-end side. So for the drugstore side, I've got me CoverGirl Flourish Lash Blast. I have CoverGirl Flourish by Lash Blast. I can't say that, I'm not gonna try again. I hate this mascara. I absolutely hate it. So sorry, CoverGirl. Again, this was in my new products from CoverGirl video, and it just has not panned out. Like, it looks fine, it looks nice right now, but check-in time, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, we get it. High-end side, I've even got my high-end eyelash curler. Just kidding, I found this at Winners. It's just super glam. But I'm gonna use the Tartist Lash Paint. Stuff is amazing. And I'm just using this one instead of like the, oh shit, I just got black mascara on my white curtains. I I'm using this one instead of this one just because this brush is really similar to the CoverGirl one, and this is like much different. So this is super fluffy, and this one's like really nice and firm. So I just want to use this one because it's really similar in the brush. So we hopefully are going to get like a similar look and a similar application. Okay, that's it for right now. I'm going to go about my day and I will see you guys in a few hours. Hey everybody, sorry, before we get too far on in the day, I just wanted to show you it is 10:05 a.m. and so the makeup's already been on for, I don't know, like 20 minutes or whatever, but I did forget to put on highlighter, and I did want to mention just two other quick things. I did notice these like crazy like white spots on my face. They are like blemishes that I was trying to take care of with the Mario Badescu drying lotion. And that stuff like really stays on your skin. So anyway, don't mind that. I was leaving it on there as kind of like a bit of an extra protectant. But I will get that covered up and taken care of before I go out. But I do want to go ahead and add some extra highlight because why not? Drugstore side, we are going to be using the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder. This is in the shade Golden Flower Crown. This is actually really beautiful. And so I'm just gonna roll, I've got a e.l.f. brush here. This is the e.l.f. highlight brush. I'm just gonna roll it onto my cheekbones just to kind of get that nice sort of meldy effect. And wiping off my brush very sanitarily on my tights. I'm now going to take the same brush and the Anastasia by Beverly Hills. And slap that on the high-end side. So I'm just gonna do the same motion here and then just roll it onto the high-end side. Okay, now we're ready to go about the day, so we'll see you in a few hours. Okay, so I just finished cutting the grass. It's just after 12. Oh, I picked the wrong background for this. Okay, so I just finished cutting the grass. It is just after 12 o'clock, so the makeup's only been on for like, I don't know, 2.5 hours. But everything's like looking really good so far, and like on like the same on both sides. Like the eyeshadow looks to be about the same. There's no like creasing or movement going on. Highlighter looks the same. Blush looks the same, like pigmentation wise. I know the colors are a little bit different. Ooh, I am wearing clothes. I was just out cutting the lawn in my house dress. But yeah, everything else looks to be like about the same so far. Concealer, I mean, I know like the drugstore one wasn't like as blah as the Too Faced one, but it's, I don't know, everything's holding up. So again, it's only been like 2.5 hours, so we'll do another check-in probably in another 2-3 hours after I get a little bit more stuff done, and we'll see how everything is holding up. What's up everybody? It is time for about a midday check-in. It is 3:37, so makeup's been on for like close to like 6.5, 7 hours by now, and everything is still holding up quite well. Like I've done so much today. I've been in and out of the house, running errands, you saw, doing all kinds of stuff, and everything still looks really good, and like really even in terms of like where it's clinging to any kind of patchiness or dryness, which actually isn't bad. I'm super happy with everything. The highlight on both sides is still like really good, like hello. So just in case anyone forgot, because I did earlier, this is the drugstore side and this is the high-end side. So yeah, just a quick comparison there. I'm kind of curious to see, get a little bit more light in here. Whoa. So, highlighter just makes me so happy. So anyway, we'll leave it on for a couple more hours. I'm gonna grab some dinner and eat some food. It's probably gonna get all over the place, but we'll see how everything goes, and we'll see you for the final check-in in a few hours. Alright everybody, it is time for my final check-in. It is just before 7 o'clock, so the makeup has been on for about 9 hours. And you guys, I am super impressed with both sides actually, but of course a little bit more the drugstore side because shoot, it's probably like a quarter the price overall. I do have to say that the highlighter, this was the Wet n Wild highlighter, it does look like super patchy and heavy, and it did start looking like that probably about halfway through the day. Foundation, no surprise there from the Rimmel. This stuff is amazing, looks amazing. I'm super happy. The Tarte side, the hydrating foundation, I would say it probably looks a little bit better. It probably lasted a little bit longer. It didn't lift as much, and it seems like the contour and stuff blended a little bit more nicely on this side. I'm not sure. In terms of blush, the Milani Luminoso, no surprise, it is still banging. It looks much better and much less faded than this side, so I was a little bit surprised by that. I didn't think it was gonna like outperform the other one quite so well, but it did, so that was awesome. And the eyeshadow, actually both sides on the eyeshadow did really, really well. The side that I had the e.l.f. primer on, I thought was gonna crease like 100% for sure. But using that CoverGirl palette, it turned out really well and nothing really creased. Mascara wise, surprisingly, the CoverGirl mascara actually much better than I expected. So maybe it kind of like warmed up and got a little bit better. The Tarte one I think was just a little bit too old and didn't perform quite as well as I'm used to, but overall looked okay. And finally, the brows. The brows looked about the same. They kind of wore off about the same. So yeah, overall the verdict, I would say you can definitely get away with drugstore. Like definitely, definitely. This wear test in particular, it did get up to like 30 degrees, so about 85. It was super hot today and everything just really lasted. So drugstore, hey, drugstore all the way. So I do love me my high-end products, but it is really nice to know that the drugstore ones do perform as well, if not better, than the high-end ones. So thank you so much if you made it all the way to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you feel like it. Maybe check out some of my other videos. And please join me in my next one. Aloha.